has received his cap today from Alex Stewart, the former England captain. A lovely moment. Alex Stewart, I was speaking to him yesterday and he showed me a picture of him with Ollie Pope when he was just 9 years old. So a really fitting thing for him to be able to present his cap. England have won the toss and they will bowl first as well. So lots happening here. Not so much happening in the sky right now, but I just want to show you, I've got this handy because while the sun might be shining now, it looks like there might be a bit more of that rain about this afternoon. It is forecast. Hopefully it will stay away from this area around St John's Wood.
Okay, that's interesting. It's bright and sunny at the moment at Lord's, as if yesterday never happened there. But India are going to be batting first. That after England won the toss and have decided to bowl. The playing 11 are out, as Melinda was telling a short while ago. You've got Pujara coming in to the side, taking the place of Shikhar Dhawan. And the other change that India has made is Kuldeep Yadav has come in as the second spinner. He's replaced Umesh Yadav. So that's the playing 11 for India. Of course, as far as the English team is concerned, there are again two changes there. You've got the young Ollie Pope coming into the team, and also Chris Woakes is in at the moment. Plenty to talk about. Ajit, start with you. A bit surprised first with England deciding to bowl first. I mean, I was just looking at the numbers. It really favors the team batting first here.
Yeah, but obviously the conditions would have dictated that. I mean, I can't imagine England otherwise wanting to bowl first. Look at the pitch has been under the covers for well over a day now. We haven't seen what the conditions are like, but you've got to assume that there's enough grass, enough moisture in that pitch that they feel that first use is the best way to go.
Okay, then talking about the Indian perspective, they've gone in with two spinners. Clearly, they're reading the pitch differently. Of course, it might work out really well because they'd be bowling last in this particular track.
I think they're not reading the pitch differently. I think England made a right call under covers. It will help the seam bowlers, and they've got Woakes in place of Ben Stokes. And I believe from India's point of view, they've got two spinners, they've got two fast bowlers and Hardik Pandya as the third fast bowling option. So they got enough good balance as far as the bowling department is concerned. And it was already stated that they are going to go with additional spinner, because over the course of next 4 days, the wicket will eventually dry down and it will help or assist the spinners. But one surprising selection is about Shikhar Dhawan. Once more after failing in just 2 innings in one test match, the first test match of a series is dropped, and this is not good for him. This is not good for even Pujara, because someone who's replacing him after just one bad test match also will feel the pressure, because if he doesn't score runs, then again the speculation or the axe may fall on him. And what is really surprising and disappointing is 1 week back you chose a batting lineup. 1 week back you reposed faith in Shikhar as the opener and KL Rahul as a number 3 batsman, and suddenly you make the decision almost questioning your own judgment, because in a matter of 1 week, neither Shikhar Dhawan would become a bad opener or Pujara will become a better number 3 batsman.
Okay, I was going to talk about the bowlers, but since you bring about the Shikhar Dhawan issue, and we'll take a look at some numbers as well, and Ajit, I'll bring you in on that because as he says, it'd be unfortunate for Shikhar. We've seen this happen a lot in his career. I don't think he's finished a test series up until now whenever you're playing overseas.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Yes. Whether it's Shikhar or whether it's somebody else, one test is probably not the way to start chopping and changing your team. Either you play Pujara in the first test, or if you've gone with Shikhar, I think those were tough conditions. The ball swung around in Birmingham. Not many people succeeded. Not many batters succeeded in those conditions. So I would have given all the guys an opportunity. Spinner, yeah, you can understand that because that's the combination of bowling that you want to go with. Again, I would have wanted. I mean, if you're playing 5 bowlers. I would have probably gone Kuldeep for Hardik Pandya instead of Umesh.
Correct.
But those are things. At least that's a change which you needed a spinner in, and you made that. But for the batting lineup to drop anyone could have been any other guy as well. After 2 innings is a little bit harsh. I mean. I personally felt Pujara should have played the first test instead of Shikhar, but now that you've played Shikhar, you've got to give him another opportunity for sure.
I'll ask you that question. Why did you think Pujara should play that first test match? Because we're taking a look at a few numbers there, and of course he played county season here, averaging just about 25. That wasn't great while he was playing county, and then this is outside, playing in South Africa, Australia, New Zealand and England since 2015, and I come back to both VVS and Ajit because both of you said Pujara should play that first test match, but looking at this number, wouldn't you say then Pujara would have been the last option then to play? Any one of you could take
Yeah, I think, see, it's more with the experience Pujara has. Yes, he didn't have the numbers backing him, and so did the other three batsmen we are talking about. They didn't have the numbers. But coming to Shikhar Dhawan, it's not so much about Pujara, it's just the experience of Pujara, and so Pujara is a specialist number 3 batsman, whereas KL Rahul, Murali Vijay and Shikhar Dhawan are the openers, and you have to choose two amongst the three. But coming back to Shikhar Dhawan, I totally agree again with Ajit, because every batsman failed, barring Virat Kohli. And if you see, compare KL Rahul, Shikhar Dhawan and Murali Vijay, amongst the three, Shikhar Dhawan looked the most confident. His footwork was more precise, but probably he gets the axe because of the way he gets out. But as a stroke player, you expect sometimes to, while playing shots, you get out in a certain fashion. Like Sehwag was like that. Whenever Sehwag got out, it looked bad. But that is also their strength, and that's why I'm really surprised that why the axe has to fall on Shikhar Dhawan and not the other batsmen. And when the numbers say that it's not only Shikhar Dhawan who's been struggling since 2015 in overseas conditions, it's all the top 3 or 4, including Pujara, who are struggling.
Okay, interesting point. Your thoughts on that? Shikhar Dhawan gets dropped because of the way he gets up.
No, I think Shikhar Dhawan gets picked because of the form that he shows. Maybe in shorter format, or maybe some other tests that happen in the subcontinent, or and he takes his opportunities. So, and he's doing exactly what is required of him. We haven't seen Shikhar Dhawan play well enough overseas. I'm not saying somebody else has or not.
Correct.
But once you've made up your mind that Vijay and Rahul are definitely going to play, like Lakshman says, those two are openers. Then you've got to go with Pujara as your number 3 and not try and then fit, mix and match and try and fit all 3 openers in. Again, whatever the combinations would be, I don't think you need to change after one test match.
Okay, let's take a look at the England playing 11 at the moment. And as we said earlier, they've also made 2 changes. Ollie Pope makes his debut at the age of 20, and the other man coming in for Ben Stokes is Chris Woakes. I'll get Toby on in on that. Toby, right call by the English management, the 2 changes that you see. Of course, Ollie Pope was scheduled to make that debut, but Chris Woakes for Moeen Ali.
Yeah, I think as expected, really. Chris Woakes coming in offers something different with the ball. He certainly has enjoyed playing at Lords in the past, and generally I think it's rare for England to really look to play 2 spinners here at Lords. So yeah, it's not a surprise, and obviously he does add that all-round element as well. And it's always tough to fill the shoes of Ben Stokes for any player, but I think certainly Chris Woakes will give them a bit of extra balance and mix that with a bit of excitement, having a young 20-year-old starting at number 4. So yeah, it's an interesting lineup.
Okay, let's take a look at Chris Woakes' record, especially his bowling record, how well he has been doing at the moment, and then also take a look at how he compares to Ben Stokes, because that's the man he is replacing at the moment. And there you have it. This is in test matches at home. 34 wickets for Stokes, 23 for Woakes, and if your innings, and 50 and 46, that isn't much of a difference. It's the average actually which Chris Woakes performs better on that front. But the form that we saw of Ben Stokes would be tough to replace no matter who you get. PVS?
Yeah, I think Chris Woakes is an out-and-out fast bowler, whereas Ben Stokes is an all-rounder on whom you can rely both as a batsman and as a bowler. Woakes can bat, but he's a genuine fast bowler. That's why his average is better, his strike rate is much better than Ben Stokes. But the way Ben Stokes bowled at Birmingham, the wicket-taking deliveries he produced quite frequently, and the discipline he showed, and that's the reason why I felt the Indian batsmen were under pressure. It was not only about Broad or Anderson, but there was pressure from Ben Stokes and Sam Curran. So I'm sure that this is a perfect opportunity for Chris Woakes, because he was down with injury. That's why he was not in the starting 11 as far as Birmingham was concerned. Now he's back into the playing 11. It's a great opportunity. He knows his ground, and the conditions will suit his style of bowling, because he's someone who pitches the ball up, always looks to swing the ball away from the right-hander, and early on with the Kookaburra ball, with the Duke's ball, he gets enough swing. He can create a lot of opportunities, wicket-taking opportunities for England.
And I don't think England was going to give India 2 spinners to play against. After what we've seen at Edgbaston, it's a no-brainer. Apart from the conditions as well. Yeah, but the fact that they're bowling first tells you that there's enough in the pitch. Otherwise, and if they bowl well enough, they'll get to bat on the best days at Lords. So could end up being a good toss to win and a good change as well.
Right. Also, if you look at just the bowling record, Moeen Ali quite doesn't match up to what Chris Woakes has been able to do. So I'm guessing England's gone more for the bowling all-rounder because it's their bowling that they really need to balance. They're replacing Ben Stokes, who was fantastic with the ball, not so much with the bat in that first test match at Edgbaston. But we're looking at these individual records. Let's take a look at England's record at Lord's. Now that is something for the English team to be worried. I mean, it's from 2015 onwards. They've played 9 matches, England there. They've lost 4 of them, and you know that is really interesting. Won 3 but lost 4, drawn 2. I'll go across to Mel. Mel, what are those reasons that you can really put it down to that England haven't been able to do really well? Is it because this is one of those few tracks in England which assist spinners, which is why you've seen Asian teams do really well and England not so much as they've done in other grounds?
Yeah, I do, and I actually asked Joe Root about this in the press conference 2 days ago about their record against Asian teams here. And he was quite thoughtful about it. He said maybe there was really something about this ground that did help Asian teams. And he pointed out as well that even in the match they played against South Africa here, spin played a really big part in that game as well. So I do think you would think a lot about the Lord's slope and fast bowling and everything else here, but there definitely seems to be something about it. Also, it's very dry. It can be very flat. It can dry out very much over 5 days. There's very efficient drainage here, you could say. All of that seems to perhaps just bring spin into play a little bit more. I think maybe, I wonder if India were a little bit, I don't know, hoodwinked before the Edgbaston test by England naming their side early and only bringing in Rashid into the team. And then India decided to just play one spinner, and I wonder if they were hoodwinked a little bit by that. And now they're going back to their strength, at a ground where Asian teams have had the wood over England for the past couple of years.
Okay, interesting thoughts, Mel. I'd like to get VVS and Ajit on that, whether India missed a trick there in that first test match and now gone back to that tried and tested formula of playing the 5 best bowler, not so much who the spinner and who the fast bowler is. But for the moment, I'll go across to Toby. Toby, you know, we were talking to Mel about conditions really favouring Asian teams, but we've seen, you know, rain on day 1, rain expected, showers expected on day 2, day 3, and I believe day 5 is also going to have a lot of showers. Does that then change things?
I think a little bit. I think certainly early on today, I think England are expecting the ball to move a little bit. Certainly should see a nice bit of swing, potentially a little bit of live grass there. So I think both teams really will be fairly happy at the toss, to be honest. You've got England playing 4 seamers, looking to exploit the early conditions, and Virat Kohli and the Indian side have backed 2 spinners and are hoping that the pitch dries out over the course of 4 days still, and they can exploit potentially sort of some of the England players struggling a little bit more against Ashwin and now bringing Kuldeep in. So yeah, I think it's actually perfectly set up for a really good matchup over the 4 days.
All right, interesting, as Toby says there, that both teams would be really happy because India has gone with that extra spinner. They'd be bowling last, and England have gone in with 4 seamers, so they'll get a chance to bowl first on this particular track. We'll take a short break on match day, but before that, let's talk about the Vodafone fan, Rahul. We showed you how he was getting ready to go to England. He's already there. He's up and about, getting ready to watch that Lord's Test match. Let's take a look at what he's doing.
So many incredible things to do in this wonderful city of London. I've already seen Buckingham Palace, I've seen the London Zoo. In fact, I was lucky enough to witness the changing of the guards at Buckingham Palace. But let me tell you, the best is still yet to come. In fact, let me share with you, I've been sharing all these pictures and videos on my profile, and with unlimited data on Vodafone International roaming, it is just super fab and fantastic. So I'm going to upload a few more pictures. Have a look.
Catch the best of the England-India series on ESPNcricinfo. Match highlights, clips and the best moments. Download the app now for a better experience.
Welcome back to ESPNcricinfo Match Day. We're looking ahead to day 2, which is effectively day 1 of the Lord's Test match. And England have won the toss. They've decided to bowl first. So Indian batsmen will be out soon. A couple of changes that India has made, and they've got an extra spinner. Also, Pujara comes in for Shikhar Dhawan, VVS Lakshman, Ajit Agarkar, and Toby Ronald-Jones with us. Let's talk about those bowlers we were talking earlier. The call was between Ravindra Jadeja and Kuldeep Yadav. You had said you'd go with Jadeja. You were surprised then they've picked Kuldeep Yadav?
No, I'm not surprised because it was a call between Jadeja or Hardik Pandya. And the reason for that it is a like swap. Jadeja also an all-rounder who can bat and bowl, and Hardik who can bat and also bowl.
Right.
But Kuldeep, I mentioned yesterday, also was an attacking option. So they've dropped an attacking bowler in Umesh Yadav, which I don't necessarily agree, because on this ground, in the conditions we've seen with the Duke's ball, you should have 3 quality fast bowlers, and then you can have 2 spinners, and someone like Ravindra Jadeja can do that holding up job, at the same time can attack and take wickets at the same time. But having said that, I think it's great to see Kuldeep, because except for Joe Root and to some extent Butler played him well. But none of the other England batsmen have played Kuldeep before. Someone even like Alistair Cook didn't play Kuldeep before. So I think it's a great opportunity. It's an attacking option.
Okay, because you said that you would have preferred Umesh playing this match. Let me get Toby there, someone who's bowled a lot in these particular conditions. Do you think Umesh would have been a better choice, Toby, going ahead for India in this match, considering the amount of swing we've seen with the Duke's ball, as VVS was mentioning?
Yeah, I certainly think so. I think particularly given his role in this Indian lineup, he's probably more of a strike bowler, if you like, someone who can really make something happen, maybe when the pitch is a little bit flatter, and come on and try and produce a spell with a little bit more pace for Virat Kohli. So I was certainly surprised that if they were going to play 2 spinners, that it wasn't Jadeja. I think we've sort of mentioned before that Pandya is a little bit, peripheral, if you like, with his role. He doesn't bowl too much and hasn't taken a wicket, I don't think, for a few tests now. So I'm a little bit surprised that they've gone, with that option and keeping Pandya as the 3rd seamer. And I definitely think Umesh would have, been pretty, lethal in those conditions, potentially, running the ball back in down the slope as he did a little bit at Edgbaston. I think, he certainly would have had a role to play.
Okay, we keep talking about spinners versus fast bowler, but at the end of the day, do you think the right approach is go with your best bowlers, irrespective of the condition?
Yeah, but I'm not sure these 5 are your best bowlers. I mean, Umesh has got to play.
Who would you say?
Yeah, I would have gone with what Lax is saying. I mean, Jadeja would have been a better fit. Again, Kuldeep's an attacking bowler. We haven't seen much of him in Test cricket, so this is the first time he's playing away from India, if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Yes.
So, Hardik Pandya again suddenly puts him under a lot of pressure now, because he's got to do a job with the ball as well. I mean, and he's not really excelled with the bat either. So, and is he a better batsman than Jadeja? I'm not quite sure at this stage of his career. He might have more talent as a batsman, but Jadeja can contribute as well. So. Umesh Yadav, I think they should have. You need your 3 frontline seamers. I don't think Hardik Pandya yet is one of those. It's put a lot of pressure on some of the other guys. Hopefully, they can stand up to that pressure.
Okay, because you talk about Ravindra Jadeja, Ajit was saying that don't know who's a better batsman, but as far as bowling figures are concerned, I was just looking at a few figures that Ravindra Jadeja has in England. He averages close to 46 as a bowler, which aren't great numbers for a spinner, but then this track is completely different. Just talking about Kuldeep Yadav coming in, we looked at the record in the one-days. Do you think towards the end of those one-day series, we did see English batsmen figure him out? Is that why also is a reason that you wouldn't go for Kuldeep?
No, not at all. Because white ball cricket is totally different to red ball cricket. Yes, the last couple of ODIs, especially at Lord's and at Headingley, Joe Root and Morgan played him really well. But Morgan is not in the Test team, and it's only Joe Root and you expect that from Joe Root, because he's a class batsman, one of the best in the world. You expect him to sort out and counter whatever Kuldeep is bowling to him. But having said that, the way Bairstow struggle, and I'm someone like Pope who's making a debut will always struggle to a spinner, and that too who's got a little bit of mystery, or a Chinaman or a wrist spinner. So I feel that it's an attacking option, and Kuldeep is well equipped to get the best batsman out. You know, right from the first test he played at Dharamshala on a wicket which didn't assist the spinners the way he got important wickets of the Australians. I think it's a great opportunity for him, along with Ashwin, to put pressure on the English batsmen.
Okay, so it's not the Indian bowling that was a worry in the first test match. They managed to get those 20 wickets. It was the batting. So quick words from the two of you. What does the Indian batting needs to do, barring Virat Kohli, who was really successful? I'll start with you. Things that they need to change in this test match?
No, get out, I think. Now look, the conditions were difficult in Birmingham. But I think the shot, I mean, Lakshman might tell you a bit better, but I think the shot...
Test 100 there.
Yeah, well, I was trying to hang around for him. No, look, you've got to try and show a lot more respect to the conditions and be a lot smarter with your shot selection. For starters, I mean, start is going to be so crucial, especially when you've been put in after a tough test match.
Okay. It's been raining and you expect more rain, makes it tougher then for the Indian.
Yeah, it's definitely going to assist the fast bowlers. They will be swing. We discussed so much during the first test and even yesterday with the Duke's ball. As the ball is getting older, they will be swing. Grass cover, that means there may be some lateral movement early on today. But I think one thing which Virat Kohli summed up is he requires composure from the batsmen, and he requires them to play with aggression, but also their shot selection have to be precise, and that's something which is very important. And they've got a role model within their batting lineup, which is the captain. The way Virat Kohli executed the game plan to perfection, controlled his instincts, I think that should be the case with the rest of the batsmen. Don't gift your wicket away. If you get out of a good ball, so be it, which you expect. But it's very important for you to fight it out and build a partnership. Once you do that, this Indian team has got the potential to score or post a big total in the first innings, which will be so crucial in this test match.
Okay. Post a big total in the first inning. That's the mantra that I think the Indian team would have to follow, because usually when you get a big total in the first inning, you set the pace of that test match. India are batting first on this particular test match at Lord's. As we've been saying, the records also suggest that it always helps to bat first in this particular surface. Thanks so much for joining us, Toby Roland Jones, VVS Lakshman, Ajit Agarkar. That's all that we have for you in this pre-day show that we had. We'll be back during lunchtime to talk about Lord's Day 2. See you then.